Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the PLA podcast. I have an incredible guest here that I'm truly looking forward to interviewing today. Sudha, welcome to the PLA podcast.
Thank you, Dunia. It's so nice to meet you here, and it's a pleasure to have a podcast with you.
It's a true treat. I'm so excited for the conversation we're going to have today. So, before we jump in, I'd love to formally introduce you to our audience so they can get the pleasure and privilege of getting to know you. So, I
Thank
am
you.
interviewing today Sudha Vivek, born and raised in Tiruvarur, Tamil Nadu, completed her first 10 years of school entirely in Tamil medium. In the 11th grade, she made the difficult transition to English medium education. She pushed through the challenge and finished third in her entire district. She pushed through and achieved and earned her admissions to Anna University. After graduating with 3 job offers, she began her career in software engineering in 2006. In 2007, she got married and moved to the United States and began her U.S. career with Daimler Financial Services in Michigan. In 2010, she moved to Atlanta and joined Cedar CX, later acquired by Precisely. She started as a software engineer connecting technology to real business problems. She later moved to an architect role where mentoring became a major passion. Helping others grow inspired her transition into leadership, and today she's a senior director of software development at Precisely. Her journey is one of adaptability, growth, leadership, and resilience. Today, we'll explore her path from engineering to leader and the lessons she's learned along the way. Sudha, welcome to the PLA podcast.
Thanks, Dunia. That was an amazing introduction. I am really already flattered. Yeah, let's go on.
It's a true privilege to have you on here. I'd love to know, this wonderful girl that's so dedicated in her education, had to make these big, challenging decisions at the very beginning that would end up, moving continents across the ocean and building an entire life and a beautiful career. What do you wish she had known at a young age that with everything that you know now?
Yeah, that's a great question. There are multiple things, but I wanted to actually focus on one thing which I feel could be connected with many more people who are watching this. So I'm picking this one. I don't know whether people heard about the signal versus noise. Dunya, have you heard that?
A
That's
tiny
what.
little bit, but you'll have to remind me. And I'm sure our audience has no idea, but you've piqued their curiosity already.
Yeah, sure. Let's talk about it. So I watched this video about signal versus noise. I think one of the Steve Jobs friends were talking about it. So it's basically signal is if you want to accomplish a goal or an outcome, or be it a bigger goal, like it's your purpose or destiny, whatever that is, right? When you are doing something, all the tasks that are taking you towards that outcome, towards that goal, is all the signals. Noise is something that's not, just the opposite of it. Anything that takes your attention out of your goal, any background thing or any different proximities or the mundane work that whatever that you don't enjoy doing, but at the same time it's not taking you towards your goal, that's a noise. So what I heard was in that interview, the Steve Jobs friend said, Steve Jobs is 80% signal and only 20% noise. And the only one person who beat him was Elon Musk, who is 100% signal. And then I started looking into like, what is the signal versus noise? I want to learn more. And it was not like a big theory or a big concept or anything. It's simply that you prioritize the outcome or goal that you want to accomplish out of everything, like you choose the top one and you pick the 2 or 3 tasks, or let's take maximum 4 tasks per day, which moves the needle towards that goal, and focus all your energy and have a compounding effect of that energy on that task. That is the signal. So you are working on your signal and then ignore everything after that. So why I'm saying this is to my younger version, when you are younger, you of course do not know what your goals are. You don't know what you wanted to do, and sometimes it's also like, at least with the Indian culture, right? We are like used to taking input from many people, and we are not like allowed to say certain opinions and everything. So you kind of more get into the listening more, and it's so hard to say no to things. It's so hard to prioritize things. You don't know which is your signal, which is your noise. So I felt like maybe if I would have paid attention to the signal to what I wanted to do and put all my energy towards that, it would
Mm.
have been, the outcome would have been even more better, you know. So now I'm able to differentiate between the signal and the noise. Not like Elon Musk, not like Steve Jobs, but definitely I want to get there. But yeah, I'm able to differentiate what is the most important thing and what are the top 3 to 4 tasks that I need to be doing today and what my focus is. That's how I operate today. But I wish I would have done that in my younger version itself, you know, so that many of the efforts that went into noise would have been saved, and that compounding effect on the signal would have been even yielded a lot more benefits. So that's what I would like to advise to anyone who are starting their career or who are starting their any journey. I think this is one advice that I would like to give to myself and to others.
I love it. And I think there's so much value in what you're sharing of this piece of, like you said, there's so much being thrown at us simultaneously, right? So many opportunities, so many doors, so many opinions and suggestions. And to be able to differentiate what actually matters with where we're going is so important and so valuable. Even though at the beginning of the career, a lot of people are not quite sure. And I'd even invite some of our listeners to think, even maybe further in your careers at big transitions, you may not know where you're going, exactly where you're going to end up, but asking yourself the question of saying, is what's in front of me a noise or a signal for where I'm trying to get to will save you a lot more energy in the end
Mhm.
and allow you to
Definitely.
make probably some better decisions.
Exactly. I guess that's you got to the bottom of it, right? Because when you are younger, you don't know. That's very fair because we are still experimenting the world, exploring the world. But one thing to believe is listen to your inner self, right? Because I feel it is my feeling again, it is all connected with your purpose, like it's your destiny, purpose, and your inner self. It's all connected together and you get this subconscious signal sometimes, right? So that's where you have to listen to yourself on, okay, what is something that you do, it makes you like, it's without even giving getting accomplishments from others, without even getting money for doing that work. If something that's giving you more rewarding, that's accomplishment, self accomplishment feeling, that is something to listen to
Mm,
find your signals, because that is connecting somehow with your purpose,
yeah,
somehow that eventually pans out into a longer journey. So that's a clue, at least that's what I'm using it as a clue. So yeah, I guess that that's something, a little advice that can add on top of to it, you know.
absolutely. And I love that piece that you brought. Like your inner self knows if it is a
Hmm.
signal most of the time, right?
Yeah.
Even
Hmm.
in your career, there's this knowing, there's this excitement when it's tied to your purpose. And I can even like reflect on some moments in my own career, and I'm sure some people may relate to this, where you're thinking, I'm working on this, but I feel like it's a bit of a waste. And it's not because I'm trying to avoid some hard work, but you're thinking, I don't think this, I'm onto something here, and those moments of hot and cold, like, oh yes, I feel excited, there's something about this that intrigues me or pulls me in. And sometimes you're thinking, I feel like we're off here. So trusting that inner self. So I love that you brought
Yeah.
this up.
It's a cue, you know, it's a cue. Your internal self is giving it to yourself, and we got to listen to it. Yeah.
Absolutely. My second question for you, Sudha, is this piece around, so many times we talk about the great accomplishments in our work, right? The accolades, the successes, and we start to realize, looking back on our careers, those moments of challenges and difficulties is actually where we grow. I'd love to know for you, what were the greatest challenges of your own career, and how did they, invite you into growth? How did you end up growing through them?
Sure. With respect to my career, there are two things, and that again ties back to my signal and noise theory. The first one is saying no. And second one is asking for help.
Mm,
So that is something I am not really good at one point, especially the younger version of myself. When someone is giving something, I want to do it. I want to take in and do it. I just have that enthusiasm to do it. And when you are like growing in your career, like you're budding, right? You wanted to have that reputation built among everybody. So you end up taking everything. It's not a bad thing. Because when you are young, of course, you have the time and you wanted to explore a lot of things. I'm not asking people to not do and not explore, but what I'm trying to say is prioritize and execute in order. Say for example, if you are getting three things, one from your direct manager, one from the CTO, and one from your manager's manager, you are like, okay, all the three things are important to me. I don't know how to prioritize these things. And then I can't say no to these people because I report to them and my reputation kind of depends on it. So I was scared to ask, hey, by the way, I am having three conflicting priorities. And I end up taking all of that and doing it. And sometimes, when your brain is focused on multiple things, when you're not focusing on that one thing, you just jump, right? That context switching, what it causes is it limits your ability to think.
absolutely.
Um, yeah, it limits your potential of that outcome that you want to accomplish. If you are just doing that one thing, your outcome may be like, it may reach to near to the perfection level, or it would have a lot of like scalability and longer term attribute in it, which you will think when you are putting the focus, you are able to think that clearly compared to you want to rush and do things. Your
Mm,
mind is more focused on just finishing it, right? Which is not good. That is why it is important to get the prioritization and sometimes saying, no, hey, I have this one. If you want me to do this one, then I may have to drop the priority on this, and this is not going to be getting done by this time. Or if I have a peer, you know, hey, by the way, the director asked me to do this. Do you want to take care of it while I'm focusing on this one, which this person asked me? Like, I
mm,
was not good at that, and overcoming that was the biggest challenge for me because I have this nature of like, okay, let me do it and let me get better and do it, and not thinking the other side, what could be the trade off. And sometimes I don't want it. I either end up getting burnt out, or sometimes
mm.
it might end up being, oh, I compromise this decision, or my mind is not 100% on it, so the outcome is not how the usual Sudha would do it, you know
Yeah.
so that was the repercussion of it, right? So I eventually get past that stage. It was the hardest transformation, I think. When I was an architect, that is when I was challenged a lot, because it was not even though it was an independent contributor role, it completely depends on you are being on the driver's seat and you are leading that project or assignment or whatever that is. So you need to have the delegation, you need to ask for help, and you need to be able to be saying, hey, this priority is conflicting with this, and no, we can't be able to do this. Or you have to also say that assertively. Let's go to cloud, for example. If anyone is saying that, well, we have these difficulties and we can go to cloud, but these are the problems. So it is my job to let the team, the leadership team, know what are the negative effects of certain decisions, right? So that is when it got challenged a lot. But then I used that challenge, of course, and I built my courage inside. And again, the signal versus noise theory really helped them. I was so focused on, okay, let me take this, think about it, and I don't want to be shy in presenting what would be the consequences or conflict of priorities or whatever that negative information could be. It's bad news is not going to get better by age. One of my CEOs said, so it's better to know about the bad news of before so we can act on it. So I prepared my mind every day to do that. That was the bigger challenge for me. And I'm sure many of us could connect with it. Maybe you do, Dunya, but, it was one of the hardest things. But as I was growing, I think I'm getting better and better at it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I love that there's so many points that you brought up in this. Like, at the beginning of our career, it's it's encouraged. We're getting experience, we're getting to touch different projects, we're really learning to grow our bandwidth of what we have capability for, what we're exploring, learning and growing. And then that gentle transition that, especially when we get into a leadership role where it's like, you know what, I have a limited bandwidth in what I'm capable of doing right now, and I've got to focus on what I'm choosing to do. I think there's so much value of knowing within, wait a minute, that time is now, and I have to learn to delegate, I have to learn to prioritize, I have to learn to say no. And it's not always easy, especially that at the beginning of the career, it's encouraged to say yes, and it's actually to our benefit to say yes. So it's actually a completely different way of operating when we
Mhm.
start to step into that leadership. And I loved this thing that you brought up around the hat switching, right? How much energy and effort we lose through hat switching that we could have reinvested had we been focused in a single project. Yeah,
Mhm.
there's a lot of key elements in that. And I think that this is another invitation for our audience to think, am I really using my energy and my bandwidth effectively in my day? Or am I overspending time saying yes to things I shouldn't do? Or spending time in hat switching where I've got to find another solution because it's not quite working for me?
Exactly. Exactly.
I
Well
love
said. Yeah.
I
Hmm.
think there's some really key elements that you've brought up. I'd love to know, now, especially with AI on the scene, and now we're as much as we're delegating so much, I feel like we're hat switching more than ever with AI. I'd love to know, what is your take on AI? How have you been implementing it? What is your experience or perspective on it?
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot to talk about AI. Thanks for asking. And I have to start with, I love Claude. I love the AI innovation. I'm not against it. I'm the person who embrace it. But of course, I have seen some negative consequences of it also, and which I wanted to share here. First, why don't we talk about the positive effects of it, right? It is a buddy. That's one thing that we were all missing, like especially if you are in a leadership, right? The team sport, like when I was an independent contributor, the team sport, like every day I'll have a daily stand-up calls and I'll meet with my team, we'll do the design review, this, that, and the other. So there is a lot of collaborations that you do. And then when you are moving into leadership, yes, you will have like once in a week that leadership call, you get your strategies, the executions, what you need to execute, and then you go execute them. So you're kind of mostly operating in a siloed space, but at the same time, you do collaborate with others. But there is this siloed space where you are thinking, and you are the only person who you are thinking with, right?
Mhm.
And now I have AI where I can vet my thought process, even if it's stupid idea. I
Love
can talk
that.
to AI and I can get the thoughts, it's like, hey, it may
Yes.
be a stupid idea. Just be, brutally honest with me, like, critique it. Sometimes it's easy to ask critique from the AI more than the people, right? Because you don't want a very bad idea to, without vetting it. So now I have a partner or a buddy who I can pair work with, collaborate with before I'm collaborating with the bigger audiences, where I can catch some of the um, issues early on. And then when I'm taking that content to my next level of audiences, it's already vetted, it's already reviewed, and it's already like to a certain extent where it can, it reduces the workaround time, like you go back and forth, that iteration, right? It reduces that. And it you are able to get efficiency. So AI is definitely bringing efficiency. It's a partner and it's a buddy to me. That's how I see it on the positive side. But on the other side, it hallucinates, and it's not something that I'm telling you. I know everyone says
Mhm.
that, and it is real. So we want to make sure that we are validating all the output from AI. Don't like blindly go with the output and then go for your meeting with the slide that was generated by AI. Make sure you validate it. Make sure we are asking the right thing, and we validate the output from it. So that is one of the important one to validate. But stepping outside of like just from the outcome perspective, right? I don't want all the thinking to be completely delegated to AI. Why I'm saying this is human is good in thinking different aspects. For example, be it an emotional intelligence, be it a sentiment, be it the critical thinking piece of it. We are good in many things, basically. So AI is a tool, not a replacement. That's how I see it. We cannot like completely, hey, I need to execute this project, you go execute. You don't know. You don't know who the stakeholders. AI doesn't know who the stakeholder. AI
Yeah.
doesn't know whose weightage becomes more. Like, let's say one stakeholder makes a decision and another stakeholder makes a decision that kind of contradicts with one. Who takes more weightage in what scenario? For example, if I'm talking about operational excellence, my VP from operations have a more weightage
Mhm,
compared to the product manager or
mhm,
product owner. Whereas if I'm talking about the client facing issues, the things that are exposed to the client, or talking about the competitive market or positioning and all of that, then the product manager's input is more important than the VP of operations. So there are multiple things that your human brain operates, and we are underestimating the power of it. Like, we
yeah.
collect all this information and it has this intelligent layer built in, which is able to make those decisions much faster way, and it keep evolving, right? So
Yeah.
those are the type of things. Critical thinking is what I don't want to completely leave it to the AI. You can still ask the question, hey, this is what I'm thinking. What do you think the VP of operation would challenge me with? You can definitely ask that with AI,
Mhm,
and you can bet your thought process with AI. But it is us who are in the driver's seat, who
absolutely.
is using the tool. We can't completely delegate everything. That's how I see it, at least at the moment, based on the things that we have.
I love what you brought up. You know, it's funny, no one's brought up this piece around AI, not yet. And the reason I'm saying not yet is my assumption is that eventually, when it has a stronger understanding of the every stakeholder's position and value according to the question being asked or the problem being solved, it may be evolved enough in the future to be able to say, you know, according to what we're trying to solve, have we vetted? It can then rank, you know, the decision makers in terms of importance, in terms of the problem we're solving. But what's interesting is what you've brought up that I haven't heard yet is this piece around we as humans at this stage with AI have a better understanding of the players within the organization and their importance and the ranking of their
Hmm.
decision making importance when it involves certain problems. And it makes me realize that our understanding of the organization as a whole and what the company is trying to achieve and how it has to go about it sometimes isn't as logical as AI would like to solve it in that particular way, but it
Yes.
takes
Hmm.
almost a just yeah, I don't know if I would use the word human understanding or social dynamic understanding, but there's something about that AI is not quite there yet.
Yeah, exactly. And it will continue to evolve. Today, this is my observation. In 4 years from now, or even 1 year from now, there could be a different thought process on it. But
Yeah.
I would like to see it as a tool, or more than I would like to. AI is a tool. Like when you
Yeah.
have a hammer, when you have a screwdriver, or when you have an automated screwdriver, like you use the right tool for the right job. AI is not the solution for all the jobs. That is the way to think about it, right? Like we had so much everything we were writing in paper at one point, and then when digital came in, then everything got loaded up and the things changed. But we still have the same system, but the tooling has changed. And one thing I missed to say about AI is it creates that abundance of time, because of the effectiveness that it brings, right? Like things that used to take 6 months may take 2 months now. Like I can already see the AI accelerated the way that we are delivering with the quality, not compromising the quality. We are it definitely, the tool is bringing lot of effectiveness, so we are tapping the spot where we couldn't able to get to it. Like we all have this junk drawer, right? Be it any company,
Totally.
be it any technology industry, we all have this junk drawer where it's like, yeah, I need to get to it at some point. you know
Yeah.
but we were never able to get, because there is always another priority that's always like hot potato which you want to get to. Now with the AI, you get that junk drawer now, okay,
Mm,
go pick,
yeah,
take what you wanted to pick from that, so that it creates the abundance and we are able to tap the problems which we were postponing as human race. I feel like I'm thinking like in maybe 10 years, 15 years from now, our kids will be like, solving many more human problems, society problems, environment problems that we couldn't tap before. So I'm looking actually very positively that this world is going to change into better and better place with AI. I don't think it's the other way around, honestly.
I love it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We're getting time back.
Yeah.
And speaking of time in the future, my favorite question to ask on the PLA podcast is what is the legacy and impact you're looking forward to leave behind in the world?
Sure. So this is about health. I'm a bit of a health freak, and when I see like some of my friends are very like they are healthy too. Like I have a very good proximity where I'm also like challenged and inspired by others to be healthy as well. So I wanted to say that. But what I see is generally, with the world is going so fast, things are like the too many informations, too many things, and in the work it gets very competitive. Sometimes we get into this chaos of what life throws at us, and we miss this important thing, which is health, right? Health is one signal. Going back to my signal versus noise theory, health is one signal. Mental health and physical health both is one signal that is always there. It's always your number one priority, because without both physical and mental health, what anyone can accomplish. It's literally like we are all underestimating the power of health. So what I wanted to actually do is I did not figure out what I wanted to do, but I wanted to do some actions. Did not figure that out yet, which lets people to integrate health in their part of their life. Because why health becomes a backseat, right? Because of we think, oh, this is my priority. My boss wants this slides today, or this presentation today, or this project to be done by this time. So this is my priority, and I want to get it done. So I don't have 15 minutes to do my exercise, or I have 10 minutes to do my meditation, or I don't have like 5 minutes to cut my apples and eat it. So we find all the excuses around this chaotic life to actually push health into a backseat, which doesn't take that much time if we are really intentional about it, right? So we have so many apps, so many devices that helps us with health and all that. So the world is definitely getting into a better place, and many people are leveraging it. But I want to think about some solution that makes health be integrated with people's lifestyle. Its work is not an excuse. I feel we are finding excuse. So, well, like sometimes even I do that. I eat junk and say, "Oh, I'm stress eating." I find excuse for myself. So
Many
I
of us
wanted to
are
do.
guilty.
So, and then I one day skip the exercise even though I have time, and I might say, okay, I got so stressful day, I don't have time to just go for a walk or go for a run. It's all excuses. It's that we are operating with that. Sometimes the mental challenge that we cannot break it. So I wanted to do something in this health space to in the right word is integrate. Health should be integrated with your life, and it is always a signal. It's never a noise. Sometimes, or most of the times, we treat it as a noise, which it shouldn't be. So I'm thinking how to make it to impact more people. Right now, I believe like there is always like 20 to 30% of the people who are very health oriented and they integrate health as part of their life. But how to increase this and have a better quality of life, better health style, because that is the base of everything. So that's what I want to work on. And most importantly, or specifically, I wanted to focus on women too. I'm not saying that men's health is not important to
Mhm,
me. That's not what I'm saying. But we tend to fall in trap a lot because women naturally assumes responsibility of
mhm,
family, so they are getting like a lot more chores, lot more responsibilities that they take in, and on top of that, many of the women have careers too. So they jump between things. They are already context switching in their lifestyle. So health then becomes like a little bit of a back goes to the back seat, and it impacts them. It impacts everybody, and it impacts the women most of all. So I wanted to first start with how to integrate health in women's life, especially the working women's life, because they are already context switching. I haven't figured out what I'm going to do, but
mhm.
that's my high level, idea
Oh,
or
I
high
love
level
it.
thing that I want to leave with. Yeah, build on.
Oh, I can't wait to see it come to life, and I have no doubt it'll be phenomenal, especially that it comes from such a passion place. And who knows, probably AI will be a big contributor in being able to bring it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are the problem I wanted to be tapping on with AI. you know.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
there's more need than ever before, right? Like even though we're freeing up more time or getting our time back, the notifications, our nervous system are more stressed than ever before. Our food quality, even though some of us are making extra effort to be able to reach for organic products, etc., are oftentimes suffering from, the food quality is no longer what it was a few generations back. So I think there's a great space and such a big demand for this more than ever.
Yeah, it's about helping the people, right? At the end of the day, we are all one society, and the world will be a happy place if everyone is happy, and the happiness starts with the physical and the mental health.
Yes.
That's it.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Totally
yeah,
agree.
yeah.
Sudhat, thank you so much for joining me on the PLA podcast today. And I hope to have you once again in the future as a guest. It's been a true treat to have this wonderful conversation.
Oh, yeah, it was really good, Dunya. I really enjoyed the conversation as always, and your smile just keeps me making keeps bringing a smile in my face too. And I really enjoyed our conversation.
It's a true treat. And to everyone listening, I hope you got as much value as I did. I was blown away by this conversation. And we will catch you all for the next PLA podcast. Thank you, Sudha.
Thank you, Dunya.